Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Lam, sitting in for Liang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. Footage showing the altercation between Nancy Pelosi's husband and his alleged attacker has now been released. We'll show you what the police's body cam captured and what Paul Pelosi mentioned during a 911 call. Federal authorities are investigating Snapchat over reported drug deals taking place on the platform. Overdoses on fentanyl-laced pills have become a leading cause of death among teens. Community members in San Francisco held a vigil for the victims of two recent mass shootings. Speakers discussed issues such as mental health and sensible gun control. Authorities on Friday released police body camera footage showing Paul Pelosi being attacked in his home last October. The clip shows Pelosi and alleged attacker David DePape holding onto a hammer. And just a warning, some of the footage and audio may be disturbing. San Francisco Superior Court on Friday released the video and audio recorded during last year's attack on Paul Pelosi. This comes after a California court ruled the district attorney's office must make the materials public. One of the videos shows body cam footage from officers who arrived at Paul Pelosi's home on October 28, 2022, when he was with suspect David DePape. In the video, after the door to Pelosi's residence opens, Paul Pelosi and DePape both appear to have one hand on the hammer, and DePape is holding Pelosi's arm.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you?
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope. Hey.
What is going on right
I'm
now?
not getting an answer on call.
After DePape appears to strike Pelosi with the hammer, officers then rushed in to disarm DePape. Audio from Pelosi's 911 call was also released.
Oh, well, there's a gentleman here just waiting for my wife to come back. Nancy Pelosi.
2:23 and
He's just waiting for her to come back because she's not going to be here for a day, so I guess we'll have to wait.
Okay, what's the gentleman's name?
I don't know. What's that?
My name's David.
The name is David.
Okay, and who is David?
5.
I don't know. What's that?
I'm a friend of theirs.
Yeah, he says he's a friend, but as I said, I've never.
But you don't know who he is?
25
No, ma'am.
Lawyers for DePape had argued against releasing the footage and audio, saying it would irreparably damage his right to a fair trial. The suspect has pleaded not guilty to state and federal charges. Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi revealed in a CNN interview that her 82-year-old husband is, quote, doing okay, and it will still take a little while for him to be back to normal. According to court papers, DePape mentioned other targets aside from Pelosi, including California Governor Gavin Newsom and Hunter Biden, and that, quote, there's evil in Washington. DePape is scheduled to appear in court in February. The United States Justice Department and FBI launched an investigation against Snapchat. Federal authorities say drug dealers may be using the social media platform to sell fentanyl-laced pills to unsuspecting teenagers.
Snap, the Santa Monica-based company behind Snapchat, is facing a federal probe. Federal authorities announced on January 25th that they are looking into whether the social media platform is being used for drug sales. An attorney who works with families of victims who died from fentanyl-laced pills says the situation has been happening for a long time.
Over the last several years, Snapchat has become the vehicle of choice for drug dealers to ply their deadly trade of fentanyl-laced drugs. And in some instances, we have cases where the same dealer has supplied children with drugs that caused a grievous injury or death within a year.
Bergman says many of the children who died from fentanyl-laced pills purchased via Snapchat bought them unknowingly. A Snap representative said in a statement, the company is committed to doing our part to fight the national fentanyl poisoning crisis, which includes using cutting-edge technology to help us proactively find and shut down drug dealers' accounts. The company added that it continually supports law enforcement in drug sale investigations in that, quote, we block search results for drug-related terms, redirecting Snapchatters to resources from experts about the dangers of fentanyl. NTD reached out to Snapchat for additional comments.
2/3 of all opiate-related deaths are related to fentanyl, and in virtually all of these cases, they are not individuals who seek fentanyl. There are individuals who take other drug products that are contaminated with fentanyl. Well, I think parents need to have open dialogues with their kids. I think the risks of fentanyl need to be made clear.
He says law enforcement have alerted Snapchat of particular dealers, but those dealers are reportedly still on the platform selling pills to teens.
We don't even need to rely upon the parents. We have actual snaps showing that Snapchat was used kind of as a menu, just like at a restaurant, lists of particular drugs available. Of course, the disappearing message function allows dealers to sell these products and then escape liability for it.
According to sources, the collaborative probe between FBI agents and U.S. Justice Department attorneys will include interviews with parents of children who have died from overdoses. Investigators are trying to access the victims' social media accounts to identify the drug suppliers.
A press conference was held Thursday in Riverside County to address the ongoing fentanyl crisis that is plaguing the Inland Empire.
Officials from the Inland Empire held a press conference on Thursday to announce a collaborative public outreach to address the fentanyl crisis. The district attorney, Mike Hestren, along with local and federal law enforcement agencies, introduced the Drugs in Disguise campaign.
And so the most important thing is public education, and that's why we're launching a public education initiative. It's not just a Say No to Drugs campaign. It is actually getting the information to young people that the drugs on the street now will kill you. Simple as that.
Hestren says part of the initiative to reach the community is holding presentations aimed at high school students. So far, the Crime Prevention Unit has had over 90 presentations and reached nearly 12,000 students and community members. In addition, Hestren says the Riverside DA's office will prosecute fentanyl drug dealers to the fullest extent and treat it as a homicide. Other officials echoed his sentiment.
The charge can be filed even if only one pill or one dose of a drug is sold, if it can be proven that that specific dose caused the death. These cases are significant because drug distribution is a greed-motivated serial crime. And in my experience, the cycle of drug distribution and resulting harm continues until there is law enforcement intervention.
U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada, who serves Riverside and San Bernardino counties, said that in 2021, there were more than 71,000 people who died as a result of fentanyl. Riverside County accounted for more than 400 people, and San Bernardino County over 300 people. The numbers for 2022 haven't been released yet.
She got that pill on social media. Oh, God, she's leaving for college next week.
Fentanyl is death in disguise. One pill can kill.
The PSA called Death in Disguise that was just heard is the reality some parents across the country are facing, with most being unaware of what fentanyl is. This was the case of retired police officer Steve Folsom, who lost his daughter Jessica and her boyfriend Nicholas due to fentanyl poisoning. At the time, he had not heard much about fentanyl. Folsom, along with other bereaved parents, formed Void, or Victims of Illicit Drugs, which is dedicated to educating and bringing to communities the awareness of the deadly dangers of fentanyl.
The third issue is fentanyl is a problem that most people aren't aware even exists. And so that's our purpose, is to get out there, give people the knowledge, let them know what it's all about, and understand that your kids are at risk, your family's at risk, and DEA statistics now show that 6 of 10 pills distributed on the black market contain that 2 milligram fatal dose of fentanyl. As we constantly preach to our audiences and the kids that we talk to, if you don't get it from a physician or a pharmacy, don't take it. It's fake 100% of the time, no exceptions. It's also added to other street drugs like heroin, as in Jessica's case, cocaine, methamphetamine, and we even hear of incidents involving cannabis. The risk of death is ever present. The public must understand that the ability to experiment and casually use what some contend to be a recreational drug no longer exists.
DEA Bodner says law enforcement seized over 7 million fake pills last year and 450 kilograms of fentanyl powder. All those in attendance stressed fentanyl's deadly use. They say public awareness is key in understanding that the ability to experiment is over and that the first experiment could very well be your last.
San Francisco community members held a vigil for the victims of California's 2 recent mass shootings. NTD's Jason Blair heard from attendees and speakers who discussed issues such as mental health and sensible gun control.
Members of the local community and 15 community organizations gathered in San Francisco on Thursday evening to mourn the victims of the 2 recent mass shootings.
Tonight is a vigil to remember the victims of 2 massacres. Both happened in Lunar New Year, one in Monterey Park and one in Half Moon Bay.
The shootings were just 2 days apart, one on January 21st and the other January 23rd. According to Gun Violence Archive, they are the 3rd and 4th shooting incidents with 4 or more victims California has had so far in 2023.
I think some of the violences happen in our community is because of mental health issues. We might have been experiencing loneliness, abandonment, separation, life and death, love and hate and disputes and conflicts. Many of these things would come out one way or the other if we don't solve them.
The speakers included experts on domestic violence, mental health, and gun control.
But my father said no, hatred is not the way. Love is. We're all God's children. We're all in this country and we all have to live together. And I have faith and strength in each and every one of you that showed up here for the families.
To remember that over 60% of mass gun violence incidents start with domestic violence and family violence.
The gathering also included musical performances and group relaxation and social exercises. Jason Blair, NTD News, San Francisco.
We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we've got for you when we come back. A convicted murderer dies in prison. The Los Angeles District Attorney commuted his death sentence to life in prison last year. Bus not coming? That's because Los Angeles is short of bus drivers. Passengers can expect longer wait times. That and more on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Lam. A murderer removed from death row last year reportedly died in prison. That's according to the victim's family. In January 1992, 21-year-old Scott Forrest Collins was sentenced to death for robbing and shooting 41-year-old Fred Rose, a father of 3. But last February, Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon removed him from death row, but would never leave prison. On Wednesday, his daughter, Heather Scott, confirmed with NTD that Collins died in prison. The cause of his death is unknown. Last year, Scott, among many others, called out the DA's leniency towards criminals. Los Angeles has been experiencing a shortage of bus drivers. The lack of drivers resulted in longer wait times and difficulty in meeting the city's transportation expansion goals.
A shortage of city bus drivers in Los Angeles resulted in 10,000 canceled trips per month over the last 2 years. This is 15% of scheduled trips. That's according to a report from the Department of Transportation presented to the Los Angeles City Council's Transportation Committee on January 25th. According to a motion filed by Council President Paul Krikorian last week, the shortage has been part of a nationwide trend. Around 96% of 190 transit agencies across the country reported a workforce shortage. Additionally, the wages for bus drivers are now among the lowest in Southern California for transit operations. Based on Kerkorian's motion, the bus driver shortage also led to longer wait times and delayed a number of council-approved initiatives under the transit service analysis.
Shen wrapped up 3 performances in Folsom, California this week. Let's hear what the audience has to say.
The Shen Performing Arts had 3 performances in Folsom, California. Audience members like the positive energy it radiates.
It's just so nice to have something positive and enlightening and spiritual that focuses on unity and to show us that, you know, we're all spiritual beings and we're all connected, and that what is being expressed is exactly how we feel, you know, spiritually. And to me, that was surprising and just gave me hope. It was nice to come to something that gave me hope and joy for a change and not such a negative message.
Coming from a technical background, I really like the transition with the videography, and I thought the movements were impeccable, and the flow was beautiful.
When they go off of the stage and onto the screen, it's just seemingly endless. It just goes right from one to the next. Outstanding.
Shen Yun's patented animated backdrop brings stories to life. The performers interact with it to take the audience back to ancient China.
I have some idea of the work it must take to be that precise and that good on stage, and everybody's doing something different with their hands, but they're all doing the right thing. A spectacular amount of effort that goes into that, and I really applaud the performers for being able to express it so effortlessly, where I know it's a lot of work, but they make it look easy.
I appreciate the discipline and the organic process of Western and Eastern fusion, and the feeling behind it combined with the performers and the discipline they put into it, and the delicacy but the strength that they utilized. And it was very, you could feel quite a lot.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. And the thing that just really drew us in addition to just the mastery of the arts, the dance, the music, is the pursuit of liberty, that the people are here doing what they could not do in China. And one day we pray that they will be able to do that in China.
Shen Yun's mission is to revive China's divinely inspired culture, something that is lost today.
We saw the good and wonderful China that we hope it will return to when the communists are gone.
It opened up an appreciation for the greater understanding of ancient traditions in China, and then the 1949 communist regime takeover, and reminded me of Gang of Four and a few other times. And it just kind of renewed my insight and interest into the culture.
I also didn't realize that the faith in higher power was so intense, and that is being shut down. I had no idea.
Shen Yun depicts a spiritual group called Falun Gong, a Buddhist practice of truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. But under the Chinese communist regime, they are persecuted for their faith.
It opens your heart and your mind to another human civilization that has very strong qualities that one can learn to appreciate, and it also helps you understand and really feel for what the Chinese people are dealing with today under communism. It's so evil. It's against God, human nature. All is decent.
I mean, I want people to be free to enjoy something like this or to practice any religion they want. And if this advances that in a nice way by using it through the expression of dance and song, then I am a fan.
Even the parts that showed the injustices that are going on, you know, they were just perfect. They were just perfect to show the injustice, and yet ended with hope. The way that ended with hope, that we are that there is hope for mankind, that there's going to be renewal.
I would say a spirit of a people who yearn to breathe and live free. And that's what's exciting. I just see this amazing expression of the creativity that is best expressed in a free society.
Shen heads to Fresno next for 3 performances. NTD News, Folsom, California.
Now to NTD's Tyler Castillo for an update on sports.
I'm Tyler Castillo, taking you through the California Today Sports Roundup.
Los Angeles Angels owner Art Moreno on Monday said he was no longer interested in selling the team he has owned for 20 years after announcing in August that he was looking for buyers. Moreno bought the Angels from the Walt Disney Company for $180 million in 2003, making the billionaire businessman the first Mexican-American to own a major pro sports team in the United States. The current value of the franchise is somewhere around $2.5 billion, ESPN reported. The Angels won their lone World Series in 2002, shortly before Moreno purchased it, and the team has struggled in recent years with its last postseason appearance coming in 2014. The team currently boasts 2 of the best players in baseball, pitching and hitting sensation Shohei Ohtani and 10-time All-Star and 3-time AL MVP slugger Mike Trout. Art Moreno said he had met with a number of highly qualified individuals and groups who expressed strong interest in the club, but had a change of heart as discussions advanced and now plans to oversee the team for the foreseeable future. Paul George scored 35 points and Kawhi Leonard added 27 in just 3 quarters of play as Los Angeles swamped and swept visiting San Antonio. Norman Powell added 15 points for Los Angeles, with Robert Covington scoring 13 and Reggie Jackson and Ivica Zubac contributing 12 and 11 points. The Clippers have won 4 straight. The Spurs are now 0-8 against the Lakers and the Clippers this season. Clippers 138, Spurs 100. Frank Vetrano collected his 3rd career hat trick. Adam Henrique and Mason McTavish scored 24 seconds apart in the 3rd period, and Anaheim rallied to beat host Colorado. John Gibson made 41 saves, and Cam Fowler had 2 assists for the Ducks, who won for the 3rd time in 4 games. Mikko Rantanen scored twice, Sam Girard had a goal and an assist, and Pavel Francouz turned away 27 shots for the Avalanche, who have their 6-game winning streak snapped. Ducks 5, Avalanche 3.
And that's the Sports Roundup for today.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like for you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/california-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. You can send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Lam, sitting in for Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.